Commander Tal stared at the blue planet through the massive viewing screen of his observation station. For 3,000 years, his people had watched this world from the shadows. The humans living on Sol 3 had no idea they were being observed every single day. The Galactic Council had strict rules about primitive species. Do not contact them. Do not interfere. Watch and wait until they prove they can live in peace. Most species took 50,000 years to pass the test. The humans had been failing it for their entire recorded history. Tail's second officer approached with the daily report. Commander, the humans have launched another space probe. They are getting closer to discovering our outer sensors. How close? Tail asked, his three eyes focused on the datapad. Within 5 light years of detection grid 7. If they keep advancing at this rate, they will find us within 20 rotations. Tail felt his stomach twist. This was the nightmare scenario the Council feared most. The humans were advancing too fast. Their technology jumped forward in massive leaps, driven by something no other species possessed: constant warfare against their own kind. Most civilizations developed space travel to explore and trade. Humans developed it to gain military advantages over other humans. They had turned their moon into a weapons platform. Their space stations bristled with missiles. Even their peaceful research vessels carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. On Earth, Admiral Dongsu walked through the corridors of Facility Omega, hidden 3 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean. The base was so secret that only 12 humans knew it existed. Here, humanity's greatest minds worked on projects that would either save their species or doom it completely. "Admiral, you need to see this," called Dr. Hai Jin from her laboratory. She stood before a massive computer display showing equations that filled the entire wall. "I think I solved it." Dongsu approached the display. He was a military man, not a scientist, but he understood the importance of what He-Jin was attempting. "You mean the wormhole equations?" "Not just solved," He-Jin said, her voice shaking with excitement. "I can build one. A stable gateway that can transport our ships anywhere in the galaxy instantly." For 6 months, He-Jin had been working on the mathematics that had stumped alien civilizations for millions of years. Every known species had tried to create stable wormholes. All had failed. The energy requirements were impossible. The physics made no sense. It was considered the universe's greatest impossibility. But He-Jin had approached the problem differently. While aliens used computers and collective thinking, she relied on human intuition and creativity. She had found patterns where others saw chaos. She had made connections that pure logic could never discover. "How long until we can test it?" Dongsu asked. "The prototype is ready now. But Admiral, if this works, everything changes. We won't just have faster-than-light travel. We'll have the ability to appear anywhere without warning." Meanwhile, Captain Kyung-ho was having the worst day of his military career. His stealth ship, the Silent Runner, hung motionless in space beyond Neptune. What his crew had discovered would terrify every human on Earth. "Captain, you need to see Sensor Array 12. His communications officer whispered. Kyung-ho floated over to the sensor station. On the screen was an object that should not exist. A massive artificial structure hidden behind Neptune's largest moon. It was clearly alien technology, far beyond anything humans could build. "How long has it been there?" Kyung-ho asked. "Based on the metal composition and energy signatures, at least 1,000 years, probably much longer." Kyung-ho felt ice in his veins. "Are there more?" His sensor officer activated a wider scan. The results made the entire crew go silent. Hidden throughout the solar system were dozens of alien observation posts. Humanity had been living in a zoo without knowing it. "Captain," his communications officer said quietly, "we're receiving a transmission. It's not from Earth." On the main screen appeared a face that was almost human, but not quite. 3 eyes, blue skin, and an expression of complete shock. "Human vessel," the alien said in perfect English. "You are not supposed to be here. Your species lacks the technology for deep space travel." Kyung-ho straightened in his captain's chair. "Apparently you're wrong about what we can do." The alien's 3 eyes widened. "This is impossible. Our calculations show you should not achieve interstellar capability for another 500 years. Your calculations didn't account for human stubbornness," Kyung-ho replied. "How long have you been watching us?" The alien hesitated. "That information is classified by order of the Galactic Council." "The Galactic Council?" Kyung-ho leaned forward. "How many species are out there?" 47 civilized species maintain membership in the Council. Your species is under observation pending evaluation for contact worthiness. And what's the evaluation so far? The alien's expression became uncomfortable. Your species shows excessive aggression and unpredictable behavior patterns. Contact is not recommended at this time. Kyung-ho felt anger building in his chest. So we're prisoners in our own solar system? You are protected until you demonstrate the ability to coexist peacefully with other species. Protected by who? What gives you the right to decide our fate? The alien's image flickered. This conversation is now terminated. Return to your homeworld and forget what you have seen. The transmission ended, leaving Kyung-ho and his crew staring at a blank screen. Back on Earth, Dr. Hye-jin activated her prototype wormhole generator. Energy filled the laboratory as space itself began to bend. A small tear appeared in the air, growing larger until it became a perfect circle of swirling light. It works, she whispered. Through the portal, she could see distant stars. Admiral Dong-soo activated his communication device. Emergency Council meeting. Authorization Omega Black. All department heads to assemble immediately. Within hours, the most powerful humans on Earth gathered in the secret facility. Military leaders, scientists, intelligence officers, and government officials listened as Kyung-ho reported his encounter with the aliens. They think we're too violent for contact, Kyung-ho concluded. We're being kept in quarantine like dangerous animals. The room erupted in angry voices. Humans had always suspected they were not alone in the universe, but discovering they were considered unworthy of contact struck at the core of human pride. How do we respond? Asked General Minho, the youngest person ever to achieve flag rank in any human military. Admiral Dong-soo stood at the head of the table. We show them they're right to fear us but wrong to underestimate us. Dr. Hye-jin has given us the key to the galaxy. Now we're going to use it. What do you propose? Asked Intelligence Director Yunji. We're going to introduce ourselves to this Galactic Council, Dong-soo said, but not as supplicants begging for acceptance. We're going to arrive as equals with enough firepower to demand respect. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity was about to take its first step onto the galactic stage, and they would do it on their own terms. Outside the facility, the Earth continued spinning peacefully through space, unaware that its children were preparing for the greatest gamble in human history. 6 months had passed since humanity learned they were living in an alien zoo. The revelation changed everything. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth united behind a single goal, proving they deserved a place among the stars. Dr. Hye-jin worked 18 hours a day in her expanded laboratory complex. The small facility beneath the Pacific had grown into a massive underground city. Thousands of Earth's brightest minds worked alongside her, pushing the boundaries of physics beyond what should be possible. The fourth prototype is ready for full-scale testing, announced Woo Jin, her lead quantum engineer. Unlike the first small portal, this wormhole generator was the size of a football stadium. It could transport entire fleets across the galaxy in seconds. Run the calculations one more time, Hye-jin said, checking the displays. If we get this wrong, we could tear a hole in space-time itself. Woo Jin smiled. That's exactly what we're trying to do. The difference is we want to control where the hole leads. Above them, Admiral Dong-soo supervised the construction of humanity's first true warship. The Indomitable was unlike anything ever built. While alien vessels were designed for exploration and peaceful trade, human ships were conceived as weapons from the moment the first blueprints were drawn. Every system served dual purposes. The navigation computers could plot trade routes or calculate firing solutions. The communication arrays could send diplomatic messages or jam enemy signals. Even the cargo bays were designed to launch missile salvos. Admiral, the weapon systems are ready for testing, reported Chief Engineer Soo-jin. She was young for such an important position, but her talent for integrating alien technology with human weapons was unmatched. What's our firepower rating compared to alien vessels? Dong-soo asked. Based on the data Captain Kyung-ho collected, we're looking at 10 times the destructive capacity of a typical Council warship. Their ships are built for speed and efficiency. Ours are built to fight. Captain Kyung-ho had been busy since his encounter with the alien observer. His stealth ship now carried advanced scanning equipment that could map alien technology from a safe distance. What he discovered made him both excited and terrified. The aliens have incredible technology, he reported to the War Council. Their ships can travel faster than light without using wormholes. Their energy shields can deflect almost any attack. Their computers are more advanced than anything we've ever imagined. But, Admiral Dongsu prompted, sensing there was more. But they're predictable. Their tactics follow strict protocols. Their strategies are based on mathematical models. They fight like computers, efficient but inflexible. General Minho leaned forward. What are you saying? I'm saying they've never fought humans before. They don't know how to handle chaos, improvisation, or tactics that change mid-battle. Their entire military doctrine assumes rational, logical opponents. Intelligence Director Yoon-ji spread holographic displays across the conference table. I've been analyzing their communication patterns. The Galactic Council operates on consensus building and careful deliberation. Major decisions take months or years to implement. How long would it take them to respond to a direct threat? Asked Dongsu. Based on their historical patterns, at least 6 months to organize a military response. But Admiral, we're talking about 47 different species with different technologies and tactics. Once they overcome their initial shock, they could field armies we can't imagine. Dongsu nodded grimly. Then we need to make sure our first impression is so overwhelming that they'll think twice about testing us. Dr. Hyojin had been listening quietly. Now she spoke up. I've been studying the alien mathematics we captured. There's something they don't understand about human consciousness. Explain, said Minho. Every alien species we've observed uses artificial intelligence for major calculations. They've delegated creative thinking to machines. But humans still think for themselves. We make intuitive leaps that their computers can't predict, Wu Jin added. That's why we solved wormhole technology before they did. Their computers told them it was impossible, so they stopped trying. Human scientists kept working on it anyway. What else can we do that they can't? Asked Yoon-ji. Hee-jin pulled up a display showing brain scan data. Humans can hold contradictory ideas in their minds simultaneously. We can believe something is impossible while working to make it possible. Aliens appear to be more logical but less creative. The implications were staggering. Humanity's greatest weakness, their tendency toward chaos and conflict, might actually be their greatest strength in a galactic community built on order and predictability. There's something else, Kyung-ho said quietly. I've been monitoring their communications. They're afraid of us. The room went silent. Afraid? Dongsu asked. They have technology thousands of years ahead of ours. Exactly. And despite that massive advantage, we achieved interstellar travel centuries before their predictions. We developed weapons they never imagined. We're advancing so fast that their models can't keep up. Young-soo, recently promoted to captain of the destroyer squadron, spoke from his position at the tactical display. They've been watching us fight each other for thousands of years. They know what humans do to enemies. And now they're wondering what we'll do to them. Finished Minho. Admiral Dongsu stood and activated the holographic star map. That fear is our advantage, but only if we use it correctly. We can't just hide behind Earth's defenses and hope they leave us alone. What do you propose? Asked Hyojin. We take the fight to them, not to conquer, but to demonstrate that humanity will not be caged. Dr. Hyojin, how many ships can your wormhole generators transport? The current array can handle a fleet of 200 vessels simultaneously. But Admiral, we've only built 12 ships so far. Then we build more. How long do we need? Sujin ran calculations on her tablet. With every shipyard on Earth working at maximum capacity, we could have 100 warships ready in 4 months. Make it 3 months, Dongsu ordered. We launch Project Skybreak in 90 days. Project Skybreak? Asked Yoon-ji. We're going to introduce ourselves to the Galactic Council, but not by sending ambassadors or diplomatic messages. We're going to tear open the sky above their capital world and arrive with a fleet they'll never forget. The War Council exchanged glances. It was an incredibly risky plan. If it worked, humanity would claim their place among the stars through strength. If it failed, they might face the combined wrath of 47 alien civilizations. Sir, Captain Kyung-ho said carefully, this plan could start a war that humanity can't win. Captain, Admiral Dongsu replied, humanity has been at war with itself for 10,000 years. Maybe it's time we found a common enemy. Over the following weeks, Earth transformed into a fortress world. Every major city contributed resources to the war effort. Factories that once built cars now built starship hulls. Universities that taught literature now trained tactical officers. Civilians who had never seen combat learned to operate weapon systems. Dr. Hyejin's wormhole technology improved daily. Each test brought new capabilities. They could now open portals with pinpoint accuracy across thousands of light years. They could coordinate multiple openings to allow complex fleet maneuvers. Most importantly, they had solved the alien prediction problem. Human tactics relied on last-second decisions and battlefield improvisation. Even if the aliens captured human technology, they couldn't predict how humans would use it. As the launch date approached, Admiral Dong-Su met with world leaders in the hidden facility. In 72 hours, humanity will announce itself to the galaxy. There's no going back after this. Are we ready? Asked the Secretary General of the United Nations. Dong-Su looked around the room at the faces of human leadership. Determination mixed with fear in their expressions. We're as ready as we'll ever be. The alien observers think they understand us because they've watched us fight each other. They're about to learn the difference between human conflict and human unity. Dr. Hyejin made final adjustments to the wormhole generators. In 3 days, her impossible mathematics would tear holes in space above the alien capital world. Through those holes would pour a human fleet designed for one purpose, showing the galaxy that Earth's children would not be kept in cages. The countdown to first contact had begun. The Galactic Council convened for its quarterly session on Nexus Prime, the political heart of known space. Representatives from 47 species gathered in the massive crystal dome that served as their parliament building. Today's agenda was routine: trade disputes, resource allocation, and territorial boundaries. Commander Tile of the Viridian Observation Fleet took his place at the reporting podium. His presentation about the primitive humans would take exactly 10 minutes, as always. The council barely paid attention to reports about species under quarantine. Honored representatives, Tale began. I present the routine monitoring report for solar system designation, Sol 3, commonly known as Earth. The holographic display showed peaceful images of the blue planet, cities with twinkling lights, spacecraft moving between orbital stations, and the gradual expansion of human technology. Nothing seemed unusual. The indigenous species continues to develop at predicted rates, Tale continued. Their technology has advanced to early interplanetary capability. Based on current progress, first contact evaluation may begin in approximately 500 years. Several council members were already reviewing other documents. The human report was always the same: violent primitives slowly learning civilization. Today would be different. However, Tale said, his voice carrying a note of concern, there have been some unexpected developments. The humans have achieved faster-than-light communication and appear to be experimenting with space-time manipulation. This got the council's attention. Representative Corvex of the Hegemony looked up from his datapad. Space-time manipulation? That's impossible for a species at their development level. Nevertheless, our sensors have detected energy signatures consistent with controlled gravitational distortion. The humans appear to be attempting something our own scientists consider theoretically impossible. Corvex leaned forward. Commander, are you suggesting that these primitives have discovered something that has eluded our greatest minds for millions of years? Before Tale could answer, the sky above Nexus Prime exploded with light. Space itself tore open in a brilliant cascade of energy that lit up the planet's atmosphere. Through the massive wound in reality, dark shapes began to emerge. The assembled representatives stared in shock as warships poured through the dimensional tear. Not one or two vessels, but hundreds of them. Each ship was clearly designed for war, bristling with weapons and armor plating. Their hulls were dark metal that seemed to absorb light, making them look like predators emerging from the void. At the front of the fleet was the largest vessel any council member had ever seen. The Indomitable stretched over 2 miles from bow to stern, its hull covered in missile launchers and energy weapons. It looked like a moving fortress built for one purpose: destroying anything that stood in its way. Admiral Dong-Su stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the alien capital world grow larger on the main screen. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency. Every human on the bridge knew they were making history. All ships report ready status, announced Captain Young-Soo from the tactical station. Fleet formation is holding steady. Open communication channels, Dong-Soo ordered. All frequencies, maximum broadcast power. The communication officer nodded. Channels open, Admiral. Dongsu activated the main display, knowing his image was now being transmitted to every screen on Nexus Prime. Greetings, Galactic Council. My name is Admiral Dongsu of the Earth Defense Force. Humanity has been watching you watch us. We're done hiding. In the council chambers, panic erupted. Representatives were shouting in dozens of different languages, while their security forces scrambled to respond. No one had ever violated Nexus Prime's airspace. The capital world was supposed to be impregnable. Representative Corvex managed to activate the emergency communication system. Unknown vessels, you are in violation of council space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Dongsu's image appeared on the main council display. He was clearly human, but unlike the primitive barbarians they expected to encounter in 500 years. His uniform was crisp, his bearing professional, and his eyes held the cold calculation of an experienced military commander. Representative Corvex of the Hegemony, Dongsu said, reading from data provided by human intelligence. We know who you are. We know your fleet positions. We know your defensive capabilities. We've been preparing for this meeting for a very long time. The alien representatives exchanged nervous glances. How could primitives from Sol 3 possibly know classified council information? Impossible, Commander Tal whispered. They shouldn't have this technology for centuries. Commander, Dongsu continued, his voice carrying across the chamber, your calculations were wrong. You assumed we would follow the same development pattern as other species. You forgot that humans don't follow anyone's rules but their own. Dr. Hyejin's voice came through the communication system. She was broadcasting from her laboratory on Earth, her image appearing alongside Dongsu's. Honored council members, I am Dr. Hyejin, the scientist who solved your impossible mathematics. While you use computers to tell you what couldn't be done, I used human intuition to do it anyway. The implications hit the council like a physical blow. These primitives had achieved stable wormhole technology, something that had defeated every known civilization. Worse, they had used it to deploy a massive military force without any warning. What do you want? Demanded Representative Corvex, his voice shaking with either rage or fear. Ambassador Sujin materialized via hologram in the center of the council floor. She was young by diplomatic standards, but her presence commanded attention. We want recognition as equals, not as primitives to be observed and judged. Your species has shown nothing but violence and aggression for your entire recorded history, protested the representative from Centauri. You are not ready for galactic society. You're absolutely right, Sujin replied calmly. We are violent. We are aggressive. We've spent thousands of years perfecting the art of warfare. Do you know what that makes us? The council chamber fell silent. It makes us the most dangerous species you've ever encountered, she continued. But here's what you failed to understand. We only fight when threatened or caged. Give us the freedom to choose our own path, and we'll be the galaxy's greatest defenders. Captain Kyung-ho activated tactical displays throughout the chamber, showing the true scope of human preparation. Hidden fleets emerged from cloaked positions around Nexus Prime. Stealth vessels that had been observing Council. Worlds for months revealed themselves. This is impossible, gasped Representative Tail. How did you evade our sensors? We learned from watching you watch us, Captain Kyung-ho explained. Your technology is impressive, but it's designed to detect other Council species. We built our ships differently, using principles you've never encountered. General Minho's image joined the growing collection of human representatives. We've been studying your military doctrine for months. Your tactics are efficient but predictable. Your strategies rely on overwhelming technological advantage. You've never faced an enemy that fights dirty. Intelligence Director Yunji activated another display showing detailed intelligence reports on every Council species. We know your fleet positions, your resource worlds, your trade routes, and your defensive weaknesses. Information gathering is something humans excel at. The Council members stared at the displays in growing horror. These primitives had somehow gathered enough intelligence to cripple the entire galactic community. They had achieved in months what should have taken decades. You could destroy us, Representative Corvex said quietly. Yes, Admiral Dongsu replied, but we won't. Destruction is wasteful. We prefer to build rather than break. But we will defend ourselves if threatened. What are your terms? Asked the Council speaker, finally finding his voice. Ambassador Sujin stepped forward. Simple. Humanity joins the Galactic Council as an equal member. We share our technology and knowledge in exchange for access to galactic society. The quarantine ends today. And if we refuse? Asked Representative Corvex. Sujin smiled, and there was something in that expression that made several council members step backward. Then you'll learn why humans spent thousands of years fighting each other. We were practicing. The massive human fleet held position above Nexus Prime. Their weapons trained on the planet below, not as a threat but as a demonstration. Humanity had torn open space itself to deliver a message. They would not be caged. For the first time in galactic history, the Council faced a species that had introduced itself through strength rather than submission. The age of human isolation was over. The age of human influence had begun. The Galactic Council's response was swift and predictable. Within hours of humanity's dramatic arrival at Nexus Prime, emergency protocols activated throughout Council space. The largest military mobilization in galactic history began as fleets from 47 worlds converged on human positions. Admiral Corvex of the Hegemony commanded the response force from his flagship, the massive dreadnought Eternal Justice. Over 10,000 ships gathered under his command. Cruisers, destroyers, battleships, and carrier vessels from every member species. The combined firepower could sterilize entire star systems. Status report. Corvex demanded as his bridge crew coordinated the arriving fleets. All Council forces have reached Assembly Point Gamma 7, his tactical officer reported. Total vessel count 10,847 warships. Estimated human fleet strength, 200 vessels. Corvex studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The numbers were overwhelmingly in the Council's favor. These primitive humans had surprised them once, but now they would face the full might of galactic civilization. Open a channel to the human commander, he ordered. Admiral Dong-Su's image appeared on the main screen. He stood calmly on his bridge, showing no sign of concern despite being outnumbered 50-1. Admiral Corvex, Dong-Su said politely, I was wondering when you'd arrive. We've been waiting. You are surrounded and outnumbered, Corvex replied. Surrender now and your species will be granted protective custody. Continue this madness and face extinction, Dong-Su smiled. Admiral, you're thinking like a Council species. You see numbers and assume victory. We see an opportunity to teach you something about human warfare. The first engagement occurred near Jupiter, where a human patrol squadron encountered the advance elements of Corvex's fleet. Captain Young-Su commanded 3 destroyers against 12 Council cruisers. By all military logic, it should have been a massacre. Instead, it became a masterclass in human tactical innovation. Enemy vessels approaching on standard attack vector, Young-Su's tactical officer reported. They're maintaining perfect formation. Perfect formation, Young-Su repeated. That's their first mistake. All ships activate Chaos Protocol 7. The 3 human destroyers suddenly broke formation and scattered in seemingly random directions. To the alien commanders, it looked like panic. They were wrong. Young-Su used Jupiter's massive gravity well in ways that violated every principle of Council naval doctrine. His ships dove toward the gas giant at impossible angles, using gravitational forces to accelerate beyond their normal capabilities. The alien cruisers tried to follow standard pursuit protocols, but human ships didn't behave according to standard patterns. They moved unpredictably, changing course without warning, using debris fields and asteroid clusters as cover. What are they doing? Demanded the lead alien captain as the human ship seemed to vanish among Jupiter's moons. The answer came in the form of missile salvos launched from impossible angles. The human destroyers had used Jupiter's moons as slingshots, accelerating their weapons to velocities the aliens couldn't match. 3 Council cruisers exploded before their commanders understood what was happening. Impossible, the alien tactical officer gasped. No ship can maneuver like that. They're not following any known tactical doctrine, his captain replied. How do we fight an enemy that doesn't follow the rules? Back on Earth, Dr. Hyojin monitored the battle from her command center. The human advantage was becoming clear. Their technology wasn't just different. It was evolved specifically for warfare against intelligent opponents. The aliens designed their ships for exploration and peaceful trade, she explained to General Minho. Every system is optimized for efficiency and safety. Our ships are designed to kill other ships. Every component serves that purpose. Minho studied the tactical displays. Their weapons are more powerful, but they're not flexible. Their defenses are stronger, but they're predictable. They're fighting a textbook war against opponents who never read the textbook. The pattern repeated throughout the solar system. Human ships used unconventional tactics that confused and frustrated alien commanders. They fought dirty, using asteroids as weapons, solar radiation as shields, and gravitational forces as tactical advantages. Captain Kyung-ho demonstrated the human mastery of stealth warfare. His ships appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking alien formations from unexpected angles. The Council forces had superior sensors, but they were calibrated to detect known threats. Human stealth technology was based on entirely different principles. "Sir, the human vessels are using some kind of adaptive camouflage," reported Corvex's sensor officer. "Our targeting computers can't maintain locks. That's impossible. Our sensors can detect a grain of sand at 10,000 kilometers. Not these ships, sir. They're somehow bending light around their hulls. It's like they're not really there." Intelligence Director Yoonji revealed the secret during a battlefield broadcast. "Council forces, your sensors are designed to detect energy signatures and mass displacement. Human stealth technology doesn't hide those things, it disguises them. Our ships look like asteroids, debris, or background radiation." The psychological warfare component proved just as effective as the tactical innovations. Yoonji had spent months studying alien communication patterns and social structures. She knew exactly how to break their confidence. "Attention, Council fleets," she broadcasted on all frequencies. "You are fighting the species that conquered their own world through warfare. We've had 10,000 years to perfect the art of destroying intelligent opponents. This is what we learned." The broadcast included historical footage of human conflicts, massive tank battles, naval engagements, aerial combat, and urban warfare. For species that had lived in peace for thousands of years, the images were terrifying. "Every human child learns these lessons," Yoonji continued. "Every human commander studies these battles. We've turned warfare into a science, and we've been practicing on each other since the beginning of recorded history." The Council forces began experiencing something they had never faced before: fear. Not just of defeat, but of what humanity represented. These creatures didn't just fight to win territory or resources. They fought because they were good at it. Admiral Corvex found his carefully planned assault dissolving into chaos. His ships were designed for large-scale fleet engagements with predictable opponents. Human vessels refused to engage according to accepted protocols. "Status. Report," he demanded after losing his 15th cruiser to human hit-and-run attacks. "We've destroyed 12 human vessels," his tactical officer reported, "but they've eliminated 43 of ours. Sir, our casualty rate is unacceptable." "How is this possible? We outnumber them 50 to 1. They're not fighting like a unified fleet. Each human ship operates independently, using tactics that change mid-battle. Our targeting computers can't predict their movements." Dr. Hai-Jin demonstrated humanity's most terrifying capability during the battle's climax. As Council forces concentrated around Earth's orbital defenses, she opened multiple wormholes simultaneously. Human reinforcements poured through dimensional tiers from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Ships that the aliens thought they had destroyed reappeared with full ammunition and fresh crews. Human casualties were replaced faster than the Council forces could inflict them. "They're reinforcing faster than we can engage them," Corvex's communications officer reported in disbelief. "Sir, how many ships do they have?" The answer came from Admiral Dongsu himself. "Admiral Corvex, you're thinking in terms of static numbers. We're thinking in terms of renewable resources. Every ship you destroy can be replaced. Every tactical lesson you teach us makes us stronger." The turning point came when General Minho demonstrated human adaptive capability. As the Council forces adjusted their tactics to counter human stealth technology, human forces evolved new countermeasures in real time. "Sir," Youngsu reported from his destroyer squadron, "the aliens have modified their sensors to detect our stealth systems." "Then we modify our stealth systems," Minho replied calmly. "Update all ships. New camouflage protocols are uploading now." Within minutes, human ships that had become visible to alien sensors vanished again. Their technology didn't just adapt, it evolved during combat. Admiral Corvex stared at his tactical display as the impossible became routine. His massive fleet was being systematically destroyed by a force 1/50th its size. Every advantage his species had developed over millions of years was being neutralized by human innovation. "Open a channel to the human commander," he said quietly. Admiral Dong Su appeared on screen, still calm despite fighting the largest space battle in galactic history. Admiral Corvex, Dong Su said, "Are you ready to discuss terms?" "Terms?" Corvex asked, his voice hollow. "We're not here to conquer anyone. We're here to prove that humanity deserves respect. Your forces are learning what happens when you threaten humans. The question is, are you smart enough to stop before we have to finish the lesson?" Looking at his casualty reports, Admiral Corvex realized that humanity had just demonstrated the galaxy's worst nightmare. A species that treated warfare as an art form, grew stronger under pressure, and adapted faster than their enemies could respond. The Council had awakened something that should have remained sleeping for another 500 years. The war ended not with humanity's victory, but with the galaxy's surrender to a new reality. Admiral Corvex's massive fleet limped back to Council space after losing nearly half its ships to a human force, 1/50th its size. The impossible had become undeniable. These primitive barbarians from Sol 3 were the most dangerous military force the galaxy had ever encountered. In the emergency session of the Galactic Council, panic ruled the chamber. Representatives from 47 species argued frantically about how to respond to the human threat. Some called for total mobilization to destroy Earth before humanity could spread beyond their solar system. Others suggested immediate surrender and hoped for mercy. Representative Corvex stood before the assembly, his uniform still bearing scorch marks from the battle. "Honored representatives, I have commanded fleets for 300 years. I have studied every known form of warfare in galactic history. What I witnessed at Sol 3 was unlike anything in our records." "Explain," demanded the council speaker. "The humans don't just fight to win, they fight to learn. Every engagement taught them something new about our capabilities. By the end of the battle, they were countering weapons and tactics they had never seen before. They adapt faster than our computers can calculate." Representative Vex of the Centauri Federation leaned forward. "Surely their small numbers limit their effectiveness." "Their numbers are not small," Corvex replied grimly. "We destroyed dozens of their ships, but they kept reinforcing through those dimensional tiers. We have no idea how many vessels they actually possess." The truth was more terrifying than the council imagined. Dr. He-Jin's wormhole technology had turned Earth's entire solar system into a massive military base. Human shipyards operated on asteroids, space stations, and hidden moon bases. Every engagement provided data that improved their designs. Admiral Dongsu didn't wait for the council to make a decision. He arrived at Nexus Prime with a single ship, the Indomitable, escorted by no weapons other than the reputation humanity had earned in battle. "Ambassador." Sujin walked into the council chamber wearing a simple diplomatic uniform. But every representative recognized the quiet confidence of someone backed by overwhelming force. "Honored Council," she began, "humanity comes to negotiate from a position of strength. But we're not here to conquer or threaten. We're here to establish the terms under which our species will coexist." The council speaker struggled to maintain diplomatic protocol. "What are your demands?" "They're not demands," Sujin corrected. "They're the new facts of galactic life. First, the quarantine of Earth ends immediately. Humanity is now a full member of the Galactic Council with all rights and privileges." Murmurs of protest echoed through the chamber, but no one spoke openly. The memory of burning council fleets was too fresh. "Second," Sujin continued, "all decisions affecting human space require human consent. We will not be governed by species that consider us primitive." "And in exchange?" asked Representative Corvex. Dr. Hyejin's hologram appeared beside Sujin. "We share selected technologies and knowledge. Our wormhole generators, our adaptive ship designs, our tactical innovations, all available to species that treat us as equals." The offer was both generous and terrifying. Human technology could revolutionize galactic civilization, but it came with the implicit threat of what would happen to those who remained hostile. Captain Kyung-ho established the enforcement mechanism. His ships began patrolling former Council-only space, teaching alien crews human tactical flexibility. The official reason was joint training exercises. The real message was clear. Human warships now operated freely throughout the galaxy. Our patrol routes will include every major trade corridor and defensive position, Kyung-ho explained to a gathering of alien military commanders. We're here to learn about galactic threats and teach you about human capabilities. The aliens quickly discovered that human patrol methods were unlike anything they had experienced. Where Council forces followed predictable patterns, human ships moved randomly. Where alien vessels relied on overwhelming firepower, human crews used clever tactics and superior training. More importantly, the galaxy faced new threats that the Council's peaceful nature couldn't handle. Reports came in of dark space entities, alien forces from outside the galactic rim that had begun probing Council defenses. General Minho took command of the Joint Response Force. Council species, you've lived in peace for thousands of years. That's admirable, but it's left you unprepared for real warfare. These dark space entities aren't interested in diplomacy or trade agreements. The first engagement with the dark space invaders proved his point. Council forces using traditional tactics were devastated. Their ships were too specialized for exploration and trade. Their crews lacked combat experience. Their strategies assumed rational, negotiable opponents. The dark space entities fought like humans, unpredictably, aggressively, and with complete disregard for galactic conventions. The Council forces were helpless against enemies that shared humanity's approach to warfare. Human intervention turned the tide. Captain Youngsu led a fleet of mixed human and alien vessels against the invaders. His tactical briefing was simple. Forget everything you know about proper military conduct. We're fighting monsters, and monsters don't follow rules. The battle demonstrated humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, the ability to fight and win against impossible odds. Human ships protected alien vessels while teaching their crews dirty fighting techniques. Human commanders showed alien captains how to use desperation as a weapon. The dark space entities are technologically superior, Youngsu reported after the victory. But they're not more creative than humans. They can't adapt faster than we can innovate. As long as we keep learning from each engagement, we can defeat them. Intelligence Director Yunji established human intelligence networks throughout the galaxy. Unlike Council information gathering, which focused on diplomatic and economic data, human intelligence sought military vulnerabilities and strategic weaknesses. We're not spying on Council species, she assured worried representatives. We're gathering intelligence on threats to galactic security. The difference is that we know how to find enemies before they find us. Dr. Hyojin opened the first human research stations throughout Council space, but carefully controlled which technologies she shared. Her facilities offered incredible advances in energy generation, space travel, and defensive systems. They did not share weapons technology or tactical innovations. Knowledge is a tool like any other, she explained to curious alien scientists. We'll share tools for building and healing. We'll keep tools for fighting and destroying. That's the human way. We protect our friends and eliminate our enemies. The transformation of galactic society accelerated as human influence spread. Trade routes became more secure under human protection. Exploration missions moved faster using human wormhole technology. Scientific research advanced rapidly through human-alien collaboration. But the most important change was psychological. For the first time in galactic history, the civilized species had protectors who understood warfare. The Council could focus on diplomacy and development, while humans handled the ugly necessities of defense. Ambassador Sujin addressed the reformed Council in its new chambers, larger now to accommodate humanity's growing influence. You are right to fear us. We are dangerous. We've spent thousands of years perfecting the art of warfare. We've turned conflict into a science. The assembled representatives listened in respectful silence. But here's what you failed to understand, she continued. Humans fight to protect what we value. Give us something worth defending, and we'll stand between you and anything that threatens it. The galaxy is about to learn the difference between human enemies and human friends. Admiral Dongsu stood at the observation deck of Nexus Prime's orbital station, watching human and alien ships patrol together through space. The integration wasn't perfect. Alien crews still struggled with human tactical flexibility, and human officers sometimes grew impatient with alien caution, but it was working. The galaxy had gained protectors who understood that peace came from strength, not wishful thinking. The dark space entities had been driven back beyond the galactic rim. Trade flourished under human security guarantees. Scientific advancement accelerated through shared knowledge. Captain Kyung-ho joined him at the observation window. Any regrets about how we introduced ourselves? Dongsu smiled. The Council spent thousands of years trying to keep us caged because they feared what we might do. Now they know what we can do, and they're grateful for it. Humanity had claimed its place among the stars not through submission or diplomacy, but through the one language the universe understood: overwhelming force applied with surgical precision. They had torn open the sky above the galaxy's capital and poured through with warships blazing. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity's children now walked among the stars as equals, carrying the dual promise of protection for friends and annihilation for enemies. The age of human isolation was over. The age of human guardianship had begun, and in the depths of space, dark entities that had terrorized the galactic rim for millennia learned a new word from the refugees fleeing their advance: humans. It was a word that would soon teach them the meaning of fear.